For the first time since the pandemic began, the world is no longer looking upon COVID-19 as its biggest, most alarming issue. Partly that's because of the war in Ukraine, which is overshadowing the COVID-19 pandemic, but it's also because cases of COVID-19 have been plummeting worldwide since February 2022, after the previous unprecedented Omicron surge in the winter. Hospitalizations and deaths have fallen since then too, right? But later on, since then, there has been a surge of reported COVID-19 deaths, but that's only because there's been an adjustment in the way the death toll is reported in some countries like India and America. But we can be sure that hospitalizations and deaths, the actual numbers, are not as big a problem as they have been during those past 2 years. Because of that, countries around the world are relaxing their health measures and restrictions, getting rid of lockdowns, social distancing requirements, and also mask mandates and testing requirements. In England, even the rule that people who are infected with COVID-19 must self-isolate was dropped on 24th February 2022, which means you can test positive for the virus, but you are still allowed to go outside and do whatever you want. However, currently there is a resurgence of COVID-19 happening in many countries. After the fall of the 1 month fall, now there is an uptick. But part of the reason is the COVID-19 subvariant of Omicron called BA2. Like the other forms of Omicron, it is not very virulent, and it has the ability to evade immunity to previous variants of COVID-19. But what makes it better than the previous forms of Omicron is that it is more infectious, and it is also harder to detect on diagnostic tests, which is why many are calling it the stealth variant. Because of that, the variant has become BA2 has become dominant worldwide. It accounts for nearly 86% of all sequenced cases, according to the WHO. So we have to keep an eye on it and see if it causes the pandemic to become a big problem again, because it is still spreading and still on the rise, and all over the world. And nowhere is there more of a resurgence than in East Asia. China is battling its worst COVID-19 outbreak since the Wuhan outbreak began in early 2020, and so is South Korea. Right now, China is the country most affected by COVID-19. That can be attributed to the fact that the nation has been so good previously at suppressing COVID-19 that its people have very little immunity, and now Omicron and BA2's greater infectiousness is overcoming the country's defenses against viral spread. So the country is in a very bad situation right now. But Pakistan is not. There for the last 2 months, their virus has maintained a decline in Pakistan. It's no longer so abundant, COVID-19. In fact, on 23rd March, that was the first day since April 1st, 2020, that not a single death from COVID-19 was reported in Pakistan, and it was the same case the next day. So that means that the health crisis currently is really dying down within Pakistan. That's a very good sign. Let's hope that this continues. So far, over the course of this entire pandemic, 486 million people are infected as far as we know, and more than 6 million died. And Pakistan cases reported have been more than 1.5 million, and more than 30,000 people have died. Anyway, I hope that now the end of the pandemic may finally be at hand, but we still have to watch out. We have to see how this virus mutates over the course of the next year, and we have to watch out for the next winter, because by now it is very well known that that is COVID season. So the danger is still not over, and it is premature to declare the pandemic over at last.